totally need this right now. Let's see, where is day one? Where is day one? Oh, that's cute. It's like a, I don't know if that'll show up. It's like a little wreath. Not like amazing, but not bad. So it is officially day 2 of Vlogmas, and I'm sure you can tell by the weird ass lighting that it is quite late in the day. It is actually 10 o'clock at night, and yes, I am just sitting down to film right now. Now, I had great plans today to film more and make things more snappy and exciting for you guys, and then it ended up just being a really busy day at work. I had a lot to get done, and I was driving back and forth in traffic to the car dealership, so I ended up having only that clip you guys saw at the beginning, that one driving shot. That was all I got. When I first realized that I only had that shot, I went to Twitter and Instagram to ask you guys for any questions or suggestions or requests, and unfortunately didn't get a great response, though I did get a few good questions, which I will hopefully address sometime during this whole Vlogmas experience. However, tonight I wanted to do kind of an old-fashioned video response because I just watched 2 different videos. One was by Jahzzar from Squibbles Reads, in which she kind of expressed all of her frustrations with BookTube, and then the other video was Ariel's video on how we've kind of made reading into a competitive sport here on BookTube. I will link both those videos down in the description box in case you haven't seen them yet, or in case you want to go back and rewatch to see what exactly I am responding to. But basically, I have kind of 2 general areas that I want to touch on that were inspired by both those videos. The first thing I want to talk about is numbers here on BookTube, which of course means subscriber count, view count, likes, dislikes, and then the second thing I really wanted to talk about was the idea of competitive reading. So numbers on BookTube. First of all, I want to start off by saying that I will have been doing BookTube for 5 years this upcoming March, which seems absolutely insane, and currently I have about 5,500 subscribers, give or take. Now, I could have just lied to you there and said, oh, I have no idea how many subscribers I have. Numbers don't mean a thing to me. I never check my numbers, but I didn't, because that would have been a lie. I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of people here on YouTube and in the BookTube community check our numbers. We are aware of our subscriber counts. We are aware of when one video gets more views than the other. We are aware when we suddenly start getting random dislikes on every single video. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with knowing your numbers or checking your numbers, whether that's here on YouTube or on other platforms on social media, and I don't think it's a bad thing to be proud of having millions of subscribers. I mean, if you can connect to that many people and, you know, add something to their day, good for you. That being said, I think it's really important that we don't allow our numbers to define us, that we don't tie up our self-worth in our numbers, and personally, I don't ever want to start to allow my numbers to affect the content that I make or the way I present myself. As corny as it sounds, I'm a huge fan of the you do you mentality. So I'm talking do what you want, do what makes you happy, read what makes you happy, watch what makes you happy, create the kind of content that you want to see and that makes you happy. And I'm sure some of this attitude has to do with the fact that I wasn't raised with social media. I'm coming to this whole get the like culture as a slightly older person than, say, if I started doing YouTube when I was like 14 or 15, and I feel like because of that, I came into it with a slightly more defined sense of self. Honestly, I can't imagine what it's like to grow up with all of the social media platforms that we have today, and I'm sure there's all kinds of weird pressure that we just didn't have when I was growing up. And while I wouldn't go quite so far as to say that there's an actual formula for success here on BookTube, I definitely think there are some things that can help, you know, skew things in your favor. For example, if you have a better camera, you'll have better quality videos. If you have a more bubbly personality, you might seem a little bit more dynamic and appeal to more people. If you happen to love and talk about YA on your channel, congrats, you've hit the gold mine because you are actually appealing to YouTube's key demographic. So yes, I do think there are certain things that can help you become more successful here on BookTube, but in my personal experience, it's not about the flashbang. It's more about being genuine. I know that the channels I really love and always return to are the channels where I feel like the people are 100% themselves and where I feel like I really have a great understanding of the person behind the camera. And in my own personal experience here on this channel, I can 100% say to you guys that the more genuine I am, the more true to my interests and passions I am, and the more I stick to my actual everyday personality, the better I have done, and therefore the more successful I have become. Do I have tens of thousands of subscribers? No, and honestly, I probably never will. I would much rather have kind of a dedicated, smaller viewership that lets me make anything that I want and embraces the randomness that my channel tends to be without question, than have thousands and thousands and thousands of subscribers by making videos that I'm not genuinely passionate about. And honestly, I don't think you can separate competitive reading from BookTube or YouTube success. I've always really thought of BookTube as kind of an organic community that came into being because we were all readers around the world who were really passionate about reading and who just wanted to talk to other people about it. However, over the past couple of years in particular, as YouTube as a career has become more of a possibility for more people, I think we've all really transitioned from readers who happen to YouTube to YouTubers who happen to talk about books and reading. With that shift, we've become not just readers, but we've also become content creators. And as content creators, we are all aware, whether we admit it or not, of what does better in our particular niche of YouTube. So for example, last month I put up a book haul and my thumbnail was me holding a huge stack of books looking like I was about to drop them because I had so many. Personally, I try not to use clickbait in my titles, and when it comes to hauls, I try and avoid things like huge, massive book haul because I just personally find those kinds of titles slightly obnoxious. Not dissing you if you do it, but I personally choose not to. However, I am very aware of the power of the thumbnail, and I know that if I hold what looks like a stack of books that is so huge that it's actually falling out of my arms, more people are going to click on that video. So how does this relate to competitive reading? Well, if we're going to stick with thumbnails for a second, if you can read like 20 books in a month, then you get that really nice appealing stack for your thumbnail, and more people are probably going to click on your video. And then once they get in the video and they realize that, holy crap, this girl read 20 books in a single month, they're going to want to stay, not only because you've completely impressed them, I know you would impress me, but also because they get so much bang for their buck. In a single video, you're talking about 20 books. So whether we're being overtly or actively competitive in our reading, I think it's all kind of, it's embedded in our communal subconscious that people who read more do better and are therefore more successful. In Ariel's video, she talked about this weird sense of inferiority she was getting from watching other people's wrap-ups where they would say, oh, you know, I had a really crap reading month, I only read like 6 books, and meanwhile she's over there going, hey, I only read like 1.5. And I totally get that feeling because I do that too, but personally I find that my competitive streak really is me being competitive with myself. It's more me looking at last year and saying, okay, so you were reading a lot more last year. And again, I feel like this might come down to my whole you do you philosophy, because honestly, I don't like comparing myself against other people. I've never liked comparing myself against other people. We all are completely different people in completely different living situations, work situations, family situations. We all have different reading speeds and tastes, and because there are so many different factors at play, I don't get the point of comparing ourselves to each other. But this also could be an age thing, because I know when I first started doing BookTube and I was about 19 or 20, I think, I was way more concerned with, you know, following the BookTube trends. Honestly, my whole like first year of videos is so incredibly cringy for me to go back and rewatch, because I was literally just picking up random books that I didn't really find interesting but that other people were reading, or trying to find books that were vaguely interesting to me but that were similar to what other people were reading. I started talking really high in all my videos, thinking that that would make me seem more like punchy and fun, and I don't know, those videos are just honestly so awkward. And to be a bit blunt, there are so many other things in my life and in the world that are actually worth getting stressed out over that I try not to let myself get bogged down by the number of books I read. And I realize that that can come across as sounding a bit condescending, but I say that as somebody who finally went to therapy this year for the first time ever to address my anxiety, and discovered while in therapy that part of my anxiety was coming from like arbitrary rules and stresses I was putting on myself that I didn't need to. Unfortunately, I realized that reading was just one area of my life where I was creating completely unnecessary stress by making up random rules for myself. And you know, I know I kind of complained mid-year that, oh, you know, I haven't been reading that much, I've been having a really bad reading year, but I've been trying to really give myself a break with that as the months have gone on. A lot of this year for me has been identifying the areas where my stress and anxiety is warranted and the areas where it's not, and learning to let go of the stress that is unnecessary and that I create for myself. And unfortunately, that has meant kind of letting reading be a secondary hobby for the whole second half of this year. So I've kind of made peace with the fact that at the end of the year, I'm going to be nowhere near my 50 book reading goal. And I recognize that yes, I will probably have at least one jealous moment while watching everybody else's favorite books of 2017 and think, gosh, I wish I could have read that many books. But if this year has been a journey of realizing what is important and what is not, what I've really realized is what is not important at all is comparing myself, whether that's to other people or to myself. I just looked at how long I've been filming for the first time, and I've actually been filming for like almost an hour, so I'm gonna wrap this up because I've gotta somehow cut this down into something viewable. But I just want to say thank you guys for watching. If you stayed all the way to the end, thank you very much. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and that you enjoyed the first day of December, and I will see you tomorrow with more of a walk around vlog. Bye!